Dear friends, welcome back to my channel Easy Quality Learning with another video, Stability Studies of the Pharmaceutical Products. In this particular video presentation, we will discuss about significance of stability studies, regulatory guidelines, distribution of zones, selection of batches for stability studies, frequency of analysis, interpretation of results, and extrapolation of shelf life. First, we need to understand what is the stability studies. So this is the typical bookish definition which is given over here, which you will find in many of the books and guidelines, that what is stability. Basically this is a study during the shelf life for a product to analyze that what are the impacts on the particular product. This is basically utilized for doing or evaluating the shelf life or product qualities with reference to storage conditions and storage times. Now first is significance of stability studies. Why we are doing stability studies? For evaluation of the product impact on the different storage conditions, so that whether it is stable on 25 degrees centigrade, whether it is stable on 30 degrees centigrade, or whether it is required to be stored at 2 to 8 degrees, that is cold chain products is requirement is there. So that evaluation is done to ensure that the product comply to predetermined quality parameters throughout the shelf life. It should not happen that our product is complying to the quality parameters at initial stages, and after 3 months or 6 months or after 1 year it does not comply with the specification. So this particular study is done for the evaluation of the product quality throughout the shelf life, to assess the formulation during the developmental stages. When we are doing the product development studies and product formulation studies, at that time we don't know whether the product will be stable or not. So to know whether product will be stable or not, the only one thing is there, that we need to keep the batches, trial batches on stability studies, and based on the results of the stability studies we are able to take the decisions whether this product will work or not. To assess the quality impact on the product due to any sort of deviation in material, process and equipment. Many times it happens that due to some unavoidable circumstances we need to take some deviations, or some unavoidable deviations happens in the process. So for evaluating those impact of those deviations, sometimes we recommend from quality assurance that this particular batches should be kept for accelerated stability studies or long-term stability studies, so that we can able to know the impact of the deviation on that particular product. Now any of the studies or any of the things, it doesn't goes without regulatory guidelines. So there are some international regulatory guidelines given for stability studies. First one is WHO Technical Report Series 953/2009. So stability guideline is there. Then ASEAN guideline on the stability testing of drug product is there. Then one complete series of ICH is there for stability studies. It starts from ICH Q1A, then B, C, D, E and F. F is now not relevant since it has been captured in WHO. So Q1A to Q1E guidelines are still in force. Q1A is about stability testing of new drug substances and products. Q1B is for photostability of products. Q1C is for testing of new dosage forms. Then Q1D is for bracketing and matrixing design for the stability studies. Q1E is for evaluation of stability studies, and Q1F, that was for zone 3 and zone 4 stability studies. Now to do the stability studies, this complete world is divided into 4 zones. Zone 1 is temperate zone, zone 2 is subtropical, zone 3 is hot and dry, zone 4 is hot and wet, and mean kinetic temperatures which are derived from those areas is also specified on your screen. Then zone 4 is again divided into zone 4A and 4B. 4A is for 30 degrees centigrade and 65% RH, and zone 4B it has 30 degrees centigrade and 75% RH. Our India comes in zone 4A and 4B, most of the part. Now this is the pictorial representation of zoning of complete world. So you can see most of the part it is covered by zone 1 and zone 2, and major part is covered by again zone 4. Zone 3 represents a very small part inside the world. So this is the pictorial representation for zones. Now comes when you want to do a stability, then what should be the selection of batches? Which batches we need to select for the stability studies? If we are doing a direct commercial batches, then it is very straight. First 3 batches of process validation on which we are doing, it need to be selected for stability studies. But when it is taken from product development stage and we are going to submit the data to some export markets, then 3 pilot scale batches are essential to be submitted. Now what is the pilot scale batches? Pilot scale batches, it should be minimum 1/10 of the batch size of the commercial, or minimum 1 lakh unit should be there. Whichever is more, it should be considered. Then what are the other requirements for pilot scale batches? The pilot scale batches shall be taken with same formulation, same process, and same equipment design should be used, which are intended to be used for commercial products. Then container closure system and the vendors of a critical materials should also be same. Then what are the storage conditions for stability studies? If we will talk of long-term stability studies, it is 25 degrees centigrade plus minus 2 and 60% RH plus minus 5% RH. Then intermediate, this is 30 plus minus 2, 65 plus minus 5% RH. And at accelerated, 40 degrees centigrade plus minus 2 and 75% RH plus minus 5% of RH. If your long-term stability studies you are doing at 30 degrees centigrade and 65 or 75% of RH, then you won't be having intermediate stability studies. You will be having only then long-term and accelerated stability studies. If our country is located in zone 1 and zone 2, then our long-term stability storage condition will be 25 degrees centigrade and 60% RH. But if it is located in zone 3 or zone 4, then we need to go with 30-65 as a long-term storage conditions. Now, if we are doing a stability studies, then definitely we need to have a specification for stability studies. In specification part, many of the persons, they got confused and they used to do all the tests which are given in a specification for the stability studies. But it is not like that. It is very clear that we are going to evaluate the product quality with reference to time. So what are the susceptible parameters which are susceptible to change with reference to time and storage condition? They need to be evaluated. The requirement is that much only. Then minimum then requirement, whatever extra we can do, it is always welcome only. So some parameters which are specified over here, that is assay of the drug products, related substances or impurity testing, dissolution, physical parameters and microbiological parameters. Sometimes if preservatives are there, then preservative contents are also need to be tested. Now frequency of analysis. What should be the frequency of analysis? When we are doing accelerated stability studies, this what I am telling is as per ICH and guidelines recommendations, and this is the minimum requirement which need to be done. More than that, anything can be most welcome. As per ICH or WHO, what we need to do? We need to take 3 time points for accelerated stability studies, including initial one. So 0, 1, 3 months and 6 months is sufficient for stability studies. And WHO also talks about same only. In long-term stability studies, in first year it need to be tested at the interval of 3 months. In second year it need to be tested after 6 months, and in third year it should be on yearly basis. So if our product shelf life is 24 months or 36 months, then in case of 36 months, in first year it need to be tested for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, then 18 months, 24 months, and then 36 months. And in accelerated stability condition it should be 0, 1, 3 months and 6 months. In this, when we are doing a susceptible product or multivitamin preparations, or the product which is susceptible for high degradations, then in that conditions generally people used to take 1 month, 2 month and 3 month duration also for accelerated stability studies. So that depends on the nature of the product. Then interpretation of results. In accelerated stability studies, during 6 months of accelerated stability studies, there should not be any significant changes during the stability studies. For long-term stability studies, all the quality parameters shall be comply as per the shelf life specification. Now, what is significant changes? So, in case of significant change, if 5% change in assay is there, let us suppose your assay is 100% at the start of your initial analysis. When you analyze the sample, at that time you were able to find 100% of results, and if your sample is more than 95% during 6 months of accelerated storage condition, then you are complying with the requirement of significant changes, and significant change is not there. Any degradation product or impurity should not fail during accelerated stability conditions. Physical appearance change or functionality attributes should not be changed. There should not be any change in pH with reference to acceptance criteria, and your dissolution should not fail on 12 units. So this defines the significant change. Now comes most important thing for which the stability studies are done. Most of the time we need to see, if we are doing this stability studies, then how much shelf life we can do. So for that, the first condition is 3 batches, no significant change in accelerated stability studies of 6 months. Then whatever shelf life you have covered in long term, it can be doubled. If 6 month accelerated stability study is okay, 9 month long term is okay, then we can double 9 months. So it will be 18 months. But there is one more clause is there, that doubling should not be more than 12 months of whatever duration is covered in long term stability studies. So if long term stability studies is covered up to 9 months, then the extended stability cannot be more than 9 plus 12. Then if we are getting a significant change in case of accelerated stability studies, that it is generally thought that now we cannot extend the shelf life, but it is not like that. As soon as we get the significant changes in accelerated stability studies, we need to trigger the intermediate stability studies. This is possible only where your storage condition is 2560. Wherever you are having a storage condition of 3065 itself, then extrapolation is not possible in that case. So if you are having a storage condition of 2560, then you need to trigger the stability studies at intermediate stage, and it need to be continued up to 12 months. If you do not have any significant change at intermediate stability studies, then you can extrapolate the shelf life by 1.5 times of the shelf life which is covered by long term stability studies. If long term stability studies is okay up to 12 months and there is no significant change at intermediate stability studies, then it can be given as 18 months. That is 1.5 time of the whatever duration is covered by long term stability studies. But there is one more rider over here, that extrapolated stability duration should not be more than whatever duration is covered in long term plus 6 months. So that is the rider given over here. Now whenever we are submitting the data to regulatory agencies or any of the agency, then we need to give the stability commitments. That what are the commitments? Stability studies shall be continued in case if it is not completed. If we are giving for registration after 3 months, then we need to complete the accelerated stability studies and it need to be updated. Long-term stability studies shall be continued and completed up to shelf life, and it should be updated to concerned authorities. After registration of product, if there is no change in the formulation, then batches shall be periodically subjected to stability studies in order to ensure continued compliance to the shelf life. So if there is no change in this your formulations, then to evaluate the periodic evaluation of periodic stability, we need to charge minimum 1 batch for long-term stability studies so that continual compliance can be ensured. Now that's all in this video. I hope the content is useful for you and it will be able to help you in your regular interpretation of results and regular day-to-day working. If it is useful, please share the contents with others so other can be also be benefited. Subscribe my channel so that you can get the regular updates for the videos, and press bell icon so that you can get the notification as and when new video is uploaded. Thank you very much for watching and listening.